All right, so I ran the race, and so now I'm going to do a playback and kind of just explain kind of what happened along the way. So I end up qualifying good, so I'm up in front, and so the green flag has just dropped, and there's a couple of characters in here. The car right behind me, the 8 car, we ran a bunch of practice races and since Thanksgiving and leading up to this, so you kind of end up running with the same group of people. You see them over and over again, and for some reason, me and the 8 don't get along. I don't know why. It's just maybe we race each other really hard or something. And so here's the position from the 8 car looking at my car in front. And you will notice that my car jumps around a lot. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to control it. And the reason, honestly, I don't know why it's doing that. When I went into the first turn, I clipped part of the banking. I was on the inside, and when we went into turn one, my tire went below the banking of the racetrack, so it kind of right there you can see kind of how it flattens out like that. And I'm not sure, but I think I either knocked the alignment out and or did something to the rim. And to let you guys know that um, this is called a simulator because it simulates exactly what can happen in a race. And one thing that can happen in Daytona and Talladega and places like that to have these high banking is that if you get too low and you come down off the racetrack or the racing line, you can knock your front end out of alignment. And so I'm guessing, and it doesn't, tell you when that happens, just like it would in a real car. Only way you would know is by just the way the wheel feels. And I've been racing, this car all week, and it's been extremely fast. I've had some bad luck, and got caught up in a couple wrecks, but it's never acted the way it's acting right now. And so the only thing I can imagine is that I guess when I went into the first turn, like right here, I went too low and I went on the other side of that yellow line, and I think I just threw it out of alignment, and I don't think there's anything I could do about it. So the 8 car that we're riding now, looking at my car in front, um, I can see why he would hate me now because he's probably thinking, "Would you pick a lane and stay in it?" I'm doing everything I can. I literally cannot keep the car straight. It just wobbles all over the place, and it's weird. I don't know how these simulators really. It almost feels like I'm attached to the game because the wheel feels light. You know what I mean? I don't know if like a long time ago we used to have big American cars, and they had like Continentals and stuff like that, and Ford LTDs. And if you drove a really big car, they would kind of float. If you kind of got up to kind of high speed and just on a freeway, those cars seem to float a little bit, and that's how the wheel or this car feels right now. It's like the tires are not really gripping to the track, and I'm sliding all over. So anytime I make a slight turn, I think I can hear the tires, that are losing grip. And so yeah, I can't or I couldn't keep it in a straight line. And then when I did get it in a straight line to try to pull up to the car in front of me, try to bump draft, um, it would just send me all over the place. And this camera angle looks funny, and it looked like those cars are moving in sequence. What's happening is I'm moving, and those cars are not as much, and so it kind of looks like they're all kind of hooked together, but they're not. It's just the way that the camera looks. Um, you see that when I come off that curve, it I don't know what it does. It pulls me to the inside, And so whenever you see me go across that line, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to stay up on the track. And when you go to these bankings here, you know what I mean? Like, if I was to stop the car at the very top of that banking is so high that the car would slide sideways down. And so it doesn't look like it when I'm driving at the banks, are that high, but they are. And so something happens when you come off the bank onto the flat, that pulls you in to the left. I mean, I kind of does it normally, but now that my car's damaged, I guess it's damaged, is that almost every time that I come off the banking, it just pulls me in. So I know these guys are thinking, what is he doing up there? you know, um, and most of the time, you don't know. Just like I don't know if someone's car is damaged, you just think they're just a horrible driver, and you're usually just kind of cussing them. You see that it just pulls me in every time across that line, and so when I was racing, I'm thinking, okay, when this next time around, when you get to this, really try to keep the car to the right so it doesn't pull. But no matter what I do, it pulls me down there. You can see I keep going across that line. Very, very, very difficult to do that. So at this point, I'm in a crowd like that. I'm on the inside. The car is not handling. It is all over the place, and these guys around me are they're just like they have to try to avoid what I'm doing, and but what's weird is it's not slowing down my car. The car actually seems faster. Maybe it seems faster because I don't have that much control over the vehicle, and maybe that's why. But it really, because there's no speedometers in these cars, so you don't know how fast you're going. But it does really, really seem fast. If I'm thinking the whole time, okay, if I can hold on to this, I think that I'll be okay. So I'm running like 6, 7, 7 spot right now, and as long as I kind of keep close to the leaders, I have a shot, but I have to try to move to the front. Again, I'm having so much difficulty holding on to the car, and I'm really trying to keep off the 16, the car ahead of me, and that's why at this point I drop back a little bit, because whenever I try to bump draft, to push the car ahead of me forward a little bit, it just upsets my car so much. And again, the cars that are behind me right now, I think it was the 10, they're bump drafting me, trying to push me forward, and I'm dragging the brake to try to stay off the 16 or 15 or whatever that car is up there. So I don't, kind of go out of control. And so you can see with the draft, I was able to pull back up, and now here comes the 10 that's going to say, okay, I want to bump draft you, and I'm back, I'm up there thinking, don't bump draft me. I don't know if, like, again, I just got into the 15 and he's out. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. So I'll just kind of, I don't know how many laps are left at this point, but I just know I'm in third, and I'm like, okay, that's a good spot. I got a really fast car. And so here I'm thinking, all right, do I make my move now and just try to get in the lead? And because again, I was on the pole, so my car technically is faster than everyone else's. But now that I've done something to the front end or the wheel or something, I'm just thinking, is it as fast as it used to be? It feels fast, but I think I'm so out of control, and it keeps pulling me, to the left. And if I pull out, this is what I'm thinking during a race. I'm thinking, if I pull out, will the 10 go with me? And I'm thinking, I don't think anybody's going to go with me because they're behind me and they see that, I can't keep the car straight. So I wouldn't want to be behind someone like that, that's wobbling all over the track. So I'm thinking, okay, well, he's not going to go with me. Um, so I'm going to have to try to drive through these cars. So I'm like, I'm going to have to put pressure on the white car that's in front of me, and maybe I can get him loose enough um, that will put me into second place. And I'd rather be in second place than in first place. Coming down to the final laps. And at this point, I think the 10 has realized that I'm having problems, controlling my car. So he's backed off. That's good. Um, and my guess is he's probably just waiting, to the final lap or something, and then maybe he'll jump out or himself. So I have to watch him, and because if he jumps out, um, at the time I'm thinking, maybe I'll jump out in front of him, and then he'll push me, past these two cars in front of me. Again, now as the laps wind down, my car is really loose because now I don't have my tires are starting to go away from me, and so when I go into the turns, I can really feel the front end that is really light now, and I'm kind of really just doing everything I can to hang on. I just I'm really like I'm going to crash any moment now. That's kind of how I feel. So I get into the side of the white car in front of me for a minute. That's not good because any type of contact like that, dent your car and you lose aerodynamics. And again, iRacing basically takes all the data from all these racing series, and they take all the onboard computers and they plug it into iRacing. So the cars know when you make contact and you dent your car, how that wind resistance affects that particular NASCAR. So when you're in iRacing and you make contact in the same way, that computer data that they got from the real NASCARs, they actually put in this car. So my car damage will act exactly like it will in a real NASCAR as well. If you hit a wall or hard enough, it'll damage the engine. Someone slams into you hard enough, it'll wrinkle it, Um, and if you do a lot of bump drafting, that you'll see that it'll wear some of the paint off the front of the car. If and earlier we were doing a lot of bump drafting. Now we're just kind of holding on. So here we got a slower car up front, and at this point I'm terrified. I'm thinking, all right, what are these cars going to do? How are they going to go around it? And I want to be down in the groove where that I think it's the 30 car is, that purple car is. Anything high, there's not that much grip. Well, I'm already having problems, with grip as it is. But when I come off, I got a lot of speed, and then, damn, I get inside the white car, hip checks me, and I go up the track, and of course my tires at this point are like really, they feel like I got grease or oil on them. It's really just kind of sliding all over the track. But I'm in second place, and that's where I want to be. So again, look at that, all over. Now the 10 just goes for it, and I was just like, I missed it, and I wanted to get in front of the 10 when he did that. But what happened is my car, I don't have a lot of grip on my tires, so the car almost got away from me. So with me trying to get the car back under control, when right before the 10 did that, by the time I looked up in the mirror, the 10 had already made its move. I'm like, damn it. So now this is the final lap, and so I'm like, all right, well, I'm in fourth place, fighting for fifth right now. Right, I'm in fourth because the 30, I think he's a lap down, and so at this point, it's the final lap, and I'm like, all right, my car, I know, has always been fast, and that's never ever been an issue. So the speed is not a problem. And so now I got a fast car. It's the final lap, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to push that guy, and I hope that I push him so hard that he gets loose and he goes high. Well, he actually goes on the inside, and so I just go up around the outside, and before I know it, I come out of turn 4, and I'm in the lead. And I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm going to win this thing. And I go across, damn sure, first place I get it and win it. That is awesome. And to do that with a car that I basically, in my opinion, damaged on the first turn. I did something to the front end of it, and it was light the whole time. So my arms were just killing me after this race. And this is the replay that I'm showing you. When we race this, we're actually inside the cockpit the whole time. You don't have an outside view. So a lot of things, you're not able to see around you. But you can see, look at all the damage that's done to the front of my car and all the paint and stuff from rubbing those cars that are in front of me the entire time or something. And it was awesome. But I did it with the mom car, so I have a couple different cars that I have, and I'm using the mom paint scheme on all of them. And I just like it. I like the color combination. And most people are like, man, the guy named his car after his mom. And so I got the Bertha Project Rabbit on it. And that's it.
Many ways, Mary